A few things to cover today. It's quite exciting. We're going to be looking at the technical analysis. We're going to be looking at why AMC will hit 100k. We're then also going to be looking at the Evergrande missing their deadline for the outstanding debt that they have, and then finally some other factors which could help AMC increase the price in the short term, which obviously will help us get to that squeeze sooner. So as always guys, if you find this video useful or enjoyed it, feel free to click that like and subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on any videos. None of this financial advice, so do take a while to ground yourself. Make sure you do your own due diligence and research. Without any further ado, let's get straight into it. So let's look at some of the reasons why this particular user think AMC will hit 100k. Now he said for 2 reasons only. Obviously there are multiple other factors, but these are the 2 big reasons. Comment down below what you guys think about this. Firstly, he says the billions of synthetic shares. Now, this is definitely a major part for the community, a major part for the AMC shares, because this is ultimately what will cause the squeeze. If we are able to get rid of these synthetic shares, it would cause a huge boom. Now, we all know what synthetic shares are, and we all know why that's troubling us. Essentially, if you don't know, and just to quickly make it short, essentially the reason why so much shorting is happening is because there is assumptions, and again, nothing is out on the water here, hence why I'm saying assumptions, that there are synthetic shares of AMC where basically those shares are created out of nowhere, and hedges are using it to short against us, the retail traders. Now, if we are able to get rid of synthetic shares, which again actually correlates to the Evergrande missing their deadline, which we're going to be talking about later, essentially, if we can get rid of these synthetic shares, it would help us with the squeeze, and it automatically could be the catalyst to increase the squeeze. Now, the second thing is diamond hand, and everyone should know what diamond hand is, but again, for the ones who don't, diamond hand is basically when you are able to not react to the AMC price if it's going up or going down until it gets that very high point, and then that's when everyone's going to be taking profit. So these are the 2 reasons. Again, like I said, comment down below what you guys think about this. Disclaimer, this wouldn't ever be possible without hedge funds printing fake shares and selling them by the billions, and essentially that is true. If synthetic shares were to be true, and again, like I said, many theories and many things out there, I'm not going to be here to just put it down there on the spot, but this is a big thing. Now, I wanted to quickly look at it and talk about why this is a big thing. Now, for example, this particular user, Mr. Noob Saucer here, he said XXX here and didn't leave at $70, no sell until sell. And why this is important, because he is not the only one in the community. Now, if you want to remember what this 4x means, this means how many shares he owns. He owns shares in the 4-digit area. Could be 1,000, could be 9,999. Regardless, it is still a big amount. And he didn't sell his shares at $70. Now, these are the reasons why this could be possible. The ones who don't sell their shares when it gets to a higher price, it will cause the squeeze to go even higher. The reason for this is because, again, quickly just going back to this chart. Now, you guys can see that obviously when we reached this particular point, the share price went down. Now, this is because, firstly, 2 reasons. People getting rid of their shares, so people selling their shares, and people shorting the shares. And with that in result, it obviously causes the price to go down. Now, if the squeeze were to happen hypothetically and we were to go up, if people start selling, we're obviously going to see the share price going down. Now, if people were to hold it, then we're going to continue going up and, just up and just up, right? And so that's why it's important to have diamond hands. Now, this is not me saying that everyone should never sell their shares, everyone should, whatever. This is not financial advice. I always think taking partial profit is very important, especially if you need the money. And as a general thumb, when it comes to trading, when you're investing or trading, if you want to maximize your profit but minimize your risk, it's always good to take partial profit and kind of have a running stop loss or whatsoever. And so, again, if you don't feel like taking profit, you don't have to feel like taking profit. But if you do, it's still good. Nothing is the wrong thing here, but obviously what is important is the understanding, again, it's not me telling you to, but rather the understanding that holding onto your shares will cause the squeeze price to be bigger and bigger. And if everyone has the same target in mind, for example, 100,000, and no one sells it until, and everyone who holds AMC share don't sell when the squeeze happen, obviously there's that likelihood. But if everyone's floor is different, if some people wants to go to 500, some people wants to go to 200, and you see a lot of people starting at 200, this could shake the price, making the price to fall down, and some people might have paper hands and start selling. And again, that's why diamond hand itself, when the community is so strong, is very important. Now, the next thing, and this thing doesn't have anything to do with AMC, but it is very important, and it's the Evergrande misses deadline for 300 billion debt restructuring plan. And so Evergrande has failed to meet a self-imposed deadline for a proposal to restructure its 300 billion in liabilities, adding to uncertainty over the fate of the world's most indebted real estate developer. Now, this is huge because this could cause a massive boom in the economy. Now, previously, when this news first came out, it already caused a lot of turbulence in the whole market. A lot of people were panicking, but how they stopped that was obviously giving a self-imposed deadline to reconstruct the debt. Now, they have failed to meet that, and this is again going to cause a big thing, and which ultimately could lead to a massive market decline. Now, if this were to happen, one of the biggest hit would be to, again, these hedge funds, because they have to restructure their share prices and whatsoever. And by doing so, again, this could cause them to lose out a lot of money. And if AMC right now, with everyone holding onto AMC, normally on the market structure, when a market falls, all other stocks really fall with it. But AMC is a different stock in terms of the fact that if the market does fall, people won't really sell AMC because it's not actually going with the market in terms of what is happening with AMC right now. But do understand that hedge funds are not just putting their money into AMC, whereas us retail investors are. And so when this massive collapse does happen, we could actually take advantage of this where, Citadel and whatnot have to pay off other things. And in order to do so, they may have to sell off their short positions, which again is huge for us. And if they were to hold on to that, that means they have to put more money in. That means they will lose out on more money because of the short positions they have to pay. And again, the more money they put in will just cause an even bigger squeeze, which ultimately helps us again. So that's why I think it's very important. And that's why, even though this doesn't have any relations to AMC, I do think that this actually does have a relationship in terms of the fact how we can see AMC squeeze and how we can actually see the squeeze happening sooner. Again, comment down below what you guys think about this. And then finally, let's talk about this post. So NFA, what is the pound? So this user basically gave, in his opinion, what is going to be the pound's going to be. And he listed out 6 things. Now, I do want to quickly talk about it. And, again, I'm not here to bash on anyone. I think everyone has the right to obviously give their opinion. But I just want to quickly talk about something. So firstly, he said the reverse split. 2 for 1 and half of all the shares vanish. Shorts obliterated in 72 hours. Moon. Now, reverse split, shorts obliterated in 72 hours. Moon. Now, reverse split can actually help us. And I want to explain that, but I do want to clarify something, is that a short during a split, if you have a short position during a stock split, the scenario is similar in terms of what happens if you long a position. For example, if you're short 100 shares and the current share price is $10, if the company does a 2-to-1, which is actually what this guy mentioned, you will now be short 200 shares, but the current share price will be adjusted to $5 on the day of the split. So nothing actually happens to the shares. I'm not sure if this what this guy is referring to, and I do want to clear this, but why can share reverse split actually help us? Why can this thing actually help us? Well, what reverse split does is it actually reduces the amount of outstanding shares there is on the market. So if we see a reduction in the amount of outstanding shares, but yet we still see the same amount of shares being shorted, then that is just plain, day kind of proof of just kind of manipulative and really just synthetic shares. Because if we have reduced outstanding shares but it still remain the same, that's going to cause a lot of controversy. And so that's why I think it could help us. Again, I might have misunderstood what this guy meant. If you guys know what this guy's talking about, or you guys have your own ideas, comment down below. I want to reply to every comment. I'm very interested to what you guys think. Dividend returns. Now, I think that this could obviously help us in terms of that. This gives more incentive for more people to buy into AMC, which ultimately help us to have that squeeze sooner. Now, the only con I can see with this is obviously with the dividend returns, they obviously have to spend more money. With this money, I'll obviously see them grow the company, which is actually right now the biggest incentive for investors to come in, but regardless, it's still very good. NFT dividend partnership with GameStop, acquisition or merger. Now, with this, again, it kind of goes to that dividend returns. If they were to do dividend returns, it will reduce their cash, which could mean less acquisition or merger. And so kind of one thing or another here. Expansion into cruise line industry and a hostile takeover Redbox. Now, many things that can help obviously AMC grow. There's more, to comment down below what you guys think. But